The broccoli is still on the plate, untouched. You know the thought that's coming, just one bite. So you say it, "Can you please just try one bite?" And like a flip of a switch, the wall goes up. The head shakes, no. A perfectly peaceful dinner has just become a power struggle, and suddenly your child is eating even less than before. If this sounds painfully familiar, you are in the right place, and you are definitely not alone. It's one of the most common worries I hear from parents. They're stressed that their child isn't getting enough nutrition, they're exhausted from the mealtime battles, and deep down, they feel like they're failing. But what if I told you, the secret to getting your child to eat more and better has almost nothing to do with that single bite of broccoli? What if the key to ending these food fights for good is a surprisingly low-pressure strategy that actually has nothing to do with talking about food at all? Stick with me, because we're about to change your entire approach to mealtimes, lower your stress, and help your child build a happy, healthy relationship with food for life. The biggest mistake so many of us well-meaning parents make is turning mealtimes into a performance review. We get hyper-focused on consumption. How many bites did you take? Finish your peas. No dessert until the chicken is gone. This makes total sense to us. We know they need the nutrients. But to a child, this transforms the dinner table from a place of connection into a place of pressure and anxiety. And here's the science-backed truth. Applying pressure at the table usually backfires. Research shows that nagging, bribing, and even praising a child for eating can create negative feelings about those foods and mealtimes in general. It teaches them that eating is a chore they do to please you, not something they do to listen to their own body's hunger and fullness cues. Picky eating is incredibly common, especially between the ages of 2 and 5. It's often a completely normal phase where their growth slows down, so they're less hungry, and they're starting to flex their independence, and food is one of the few things they can control. So here's the mindset shift. Your goal is no longer to get your child to eat. Your new goal is to create a positive, low-pressure eating environment. You're moving from the role of food cop to food leader. Your job isn't to control what goes into their mouth. It's to provide healthy options in a reliable, pleasant way. Their job, to decide what and how much they eat from those options. This is a concept called the division of responsibility in feeding, a game-changing framework that's widely recommended by pediatric dietitians and feeding experts. Let's break down how to actually do it. The first strategy is changing the job description. The first strategy is getting crystal clear on your job versus your child's job. Think of it like staying in your lane on the highway. When you do your job and let them do theirs, everything flows. When you swerve into their lane, you get a pileup. Your job has 3 parts. You decide what foods are served, when they are served, and where they are served. That's it. Your responsibility ends there. What food do you serve your child? You're in charge of the menu. Serve one balanced meal for the family. The secret sauce here is to always include at least 1 or 2 foods on the table that you know your child usually accepts. This is their safe food. It could be bread, rice, or a simple fruit. This ensures they won't go hungry, which takes the pressure off everyone. You are not a short-order cook. No separate meals if they refuse what's offered. When do you serve your child? This means a predictable routine. Aim for 3 meals and 2 snacks at roughly the same times each day. A child who grazes on goldfish and juice all afternoon will never show up to dinner truly hungry. Routine helps them recognize their own hunger cues. Where do you serve your child? Meals happen in a designated spot, like the kitchen table, without distractions. Turn off the TV, put phones and tablets away. This helps your child focus on the meal and on connecting with family, not a screen. Now, your child's job. They decide whether they eat from what you've served and how much they eat. If they only eat the bread, that's their choice. If they eat nothing at all, that is also their choice. I know this is the hardest part for parents, but it is the most critical. By trusting them with this job, you give them the autonomy they're craving and teach them to listen to their own bodies. The second strategy is becoming a food marketer, not a food cop. Okay, strategy number 2 is that you have to stop being a food cop and start being a food marketer. How can you make the product, healthy food, more appealing without being pushy? First, get them involved. Kids are way more likely to try something they had a hand in making. Let them be your produce picker at the store. Give them age-appropriate kitchen jobs, like washing vegetables or stirring ingredients. This hands-on time is a low-stakes exposure they're touching, smelling, and learning about food long before it hits their plate. Second, manage the presentation. Make food less intimidating. Instead of a big, overwhelming pile of broccoli on their plate, Weintrissars Dasmams. Try serving everything family style. Put all the meal components in bowls in the middle of the table. This gives your child a sense of control as they can choose what to put on their own plate. When you do plate their food, start with tiny portions of new things. A single pea is far less scary than a whole scoop. You can also make it fun, serve new foods next to favorites or arrange them into a smiley face. Third, change how you talk. Drop the picky eater label. Kids absorb these labels like sponges, and it can become a self-fulfilling prophecy. And instead of demands like, you have to try this, get descriptive and neutral. These carrots are crunchy and orange. I'm eating my broccoli. It looks like a little tree. Talk about colors and shapes. This is a no-pressure way to expose them to the food without demanding anything in return. The third strategy is the power of doing nothing. This might sound crazy, but one of the most powerful things you can do is nothing. Your actions and your inaction speak volumes. The first part of this is modeling. Your child is always watching you. If you eat a wide variety of foods with genuine enjoyment, you are sending a powerful message without a single word. Eat the same family meal together. Let them see you trying and liking the very foods you hope they'll eat. If you make a face at Brussels sprouts, you can't expect them to be excited about trying them. The second part is a tactic called repeated exposure. Research is clear on this. It can take 10, 15, or even up to 20 encounters with a food before a child might be willing to try it. Many parents tap out after 3 or 4 attempts. And get this, an exposure doesn't even mean they have to take a bite. It can be seeing it on the table, helping you wash it, smelling it cook, or just letting a tiny piece sit on their plate, untouched. The key is that these exposures must be zero pressure. Don't comment on whether they ate it, just calmly keep offering the food every so often. One day, maybe on the 12th time they see a red pepper strip, curiosity might finally win, and they'll take a nibble. Your only job is to patiently provide the opportunity. And remember to look at their food intake over a whole week, not just one day. If they are active and growing, they are very likely getting everything they need. So let's go back to that piece of broccoli. Instead of begging for just one bite, what could you do now? You could serve the broccoli family style, letting your child choose if they even want to put it on their plate. You could make sure there's also a side of rice, a food you know they like. You could talk about how much you love the little green trees while you enjoy your own. You could have had them help you wash it before dinner. You could do all of this, say nothing about their broccoli, and simply trust the process. Here's the big takeaway. Shift your focus from consumption to connection, from pressure to patience. When you release the tension and give your child autonomy within the clear boundaries you've set, you transform mealtimes from a battlefield into a place of trust and exploration. You aren't just getting them to eat more today, you are teaching them how to be competent, intuitive eaters for life. This approach takes time and consistency, but it builds a foundation of health and happiness that no amount of coaxing for just one more bite ever could. If this shift in perspective was helpful, please hit that subscribe button. We share new, research-backed parenting strategies every week, and I will love to hear from you in the comments. What's the biggest mealtime struggle in your house? Sharing your experience helps everyone in this community feel a little less alone.